Good morning and happy Thursday. My name's Taylah and I'm a 28-year-old physical therapist living in California. And for today's video, I really wanted to do a sit-down video discussing the 10 changes that I've implemented into my life in order to improve my health and fitness. If you want to learn new tricks or habits to implement into your life or things that you can change to improve your health or fitness journey, keep on watching. So the first thing that I want to talk about is sticking with a consistent workout routine. Going into the gym or creating a plan for the week or the day prior or even the morning of going to be one of the most important factors in your fitness journey. You need to know what you're doing so that way, one, you're not wasting time, and two, so that way you can track what you're doing every day and every week. That way you can see and reflect on what you were doing last week as compared to this week. For instance, if you're weight training, did your weights increase this week? Are you doing the same amount of repetitions or the same sets? Tracking what you're doing, making sure that you have a consistent routine will help you progress. If you're not tracking, you won't know if you're progressing or how consistently or exponentially you're progressing. So that's something that I always recommend. It's something that I implement and it's something that I tell my patients to do too. We give them home exercise programs. They need to be tracking how often they're doing their home exercise program and how many repetitions. Because if they're not tracking, how do we know if their activity tolerance is increasing or if their strength is increasing? So that's something that I always recommend, not only in my patient's life, but also in my life. I like to track my movements as well as my workouts. And this just helps me have an idea of the amount of weight that I'm lifting, how often I'm going to the gym. For my runs, for example, how often I'm running, the distance that I'm able to run, and then it gives me an idea of, can I increase next week or can I increase today? Number 2. So the second thing I want to talk about is increasing overall daily movement. And with that, I primarily mean steps. I think because of how society has changed, jobs have changed, a lot of us are more sedentary, we're sitting more often, we're not getting up and moving as much, and especially in the winter, it's rainy, it's cold, in some places it's snowing, so we're just not getting up to do our daily walks outside. So either walking in the gym, on a treadmill, or getting a walking pad. They have some great options on Amazon from $100 to $150 that are just a great alternative to use to get a little bit more movement into your day. I found that using my walking pad, I use it almost every day. It's just a great alternative right now, especially since it's been raining a lot. It's a great way to not only increase your daily activity, but if you're trying to be in a slight cut, it's a great way to burn extra calories without expending a huge amount of energy. For instance, walking doesn't make you as hungry as running or sprinting. So I think just doing little things like adding and walking into your routine can really make such a big difference. And then furthermore, something that I really like to do is I'll just put a little video up or I'll put my phone up on the wall, or I'll turn on the TV, or I'll grab a book and I'll read while I'm walking. So that 45 minutes that I typically would have spent either watching TV, reading, or working at my computer, I'll just put that right in front of the walking pad so that I can walk and do those activities at the same time. Number 3. So number 3 is having accountability. Whether that be you holding yourself accountable, or you asking your partner to hold you accountable, or you asking a friend to hold you accountable. Having a workout buddy or someone to go to the gym with or go on daily walks, runs, it's a great way to make sure that you are really putting in the effort, and it's a great way for someone else to assist you. And if you don't have someone that can help you or that wants to do the same thing as you, or their goals don't align with your fit, health, and wellness goals, you can always use a planner or a tracker. I love using my planner. I write down everything that I want to do for the day, or I'll write down my habits. That's another thing that I've been doing. And really just going over your planner every single day, going over it weekly, really helps you keep track of, hey, did I hit this goal today? Or did I complete this habit today? Or this task? Planners are not only a great way to see if you're hitting your goals, habits, patterns daily, but also weekly and monthly. So I like to see it on a micro basis and a macro basis. So it's a great overview of how much work you're actually doing or you're not doing. So that leads me into the 4th change that I've implemented, I actually started doing a habit tracker and I started a planner. For my habit tracker, I'm only tracking 5 habits. I found that this has been the most efficient way that hasn't overwhelmed me, but still lets me get an idea of how much I'm actually doing. If I did any more than 5, there's no way I would be able to keep up with them. So 5 is good for me. I think it's important to pick a number that you feel comfortable with. It's better to start smaller than to pick an exorbitant number and feel overwhelmed and like you can't complete it, because then you're just setting yourself up for failure and it makes completing the task so much more challenging. So I recommend starting with 2 or 3, and that way you can just focus on those 2 or 3. So with my habit tracker, I actually utilize my planner for this. So with my habit tracker, I actually use, so you can either do printouts, you can use Canva, you can use a Google Sheets, you can use anything. All you need to do is just write down the habits and then create some columns for yourself. But my personal favorite that I've done so far is I've actually been using these little stickers. So I just created a key for what each color represents. Yellow is stretching, pink is gym, purple is handstands, blue is water, and then the green one down here is my daily step goal. I like using this because it's like a visual, it's aesthetically pleasing and it's visually pleasing as well. It kind of reminds me of the Apple Watch, like when you complete all of your rings, you see all the colors. So that's kind of what inspired this idea. And so either every night or every morning, I will go back into my planner and I'll reflect on which ones I ended up achieving and which ones I want to focus on for the next day. And this is just a great way for me to visually see, okay, what did I complete that day? And then what did I complete that week? Because my planner is set up where it has Monday through Sunday. So that way I can check each day, oh, I only completed this many. Or if I don't see more, if I see more or less of one color, I can see, oh, I'm really excelling at this specific habit, and oh, I'm not reaching this habit as much. I've only done it twice this week. So I really like these. I really like the colors. I think they're, it's almost like giving you a little bit of dopamine when you see all of them completed or all 5 colors on the notebook. So I've really enjoyed using these so far. Number 5 goes hand in hand with the habit tracker. It's really just making sure that you are, one, holding yourself responsible for the habits that you're trying to complete or change. And then the way that I've done this is by habit stacking. I actually got this idea from this book, Atomic Habits. I read it a couple years ago and I highly recommend. I think you can honestly read it every year and you would still relearn something that you maybe have forgotten, or just pick up some tips and tricks that are just really good for self-improvement and betterment. Like I mentioned, habit stacking is huge. It's really helped me achieve a lot of my goals and make things less stressful. So what that means is basically, if you're trying to implement a new habit, you just stack it with something that you're already doing and that you're already successful with. For instance, I brush my teeth twice a day. I have a hard time taking my medications. So what I do is I put my medications right next to my toothbrush or within that area so I can visually see it. Before I brush my teeth, I take my medications and then I brush my teeth. It's something that really helps too with the habit stacking is making sure that you can visually see it. So for the example I just used before, my medications have to be out on the countertop. If they're not, out of sight, out of mind. So reducing as many barriers as you can is going to be your best friend. You want to make it as easy as possible to complete the task. So that's why you stack it with something that you already do or that you know that you're good at. And then that way you're more likely to complete the task and add in that new factor as well. So another example that I've recently been doing is I have 2 goals this year. I wanted to increase my flexibility, making sure that I'm stretching more often. And then the second one is improving my handstands. So I actually do those back to back. I'll work on my stretching, my flexibility first, and then I'll go ahead and I'll hop into my handstands. And one way that I've done that is I actually have a yoga mat right below me right here that I leave out every single day. I haven't put it away. It's not in the way of anything else. So that way I know every time I walk by it, okay, I need to stretch today. It's like a visual reminder or like a visual cue to go over here, do my stretches, and then immediately after I'll go ahead and I'll try and attempt some handstands. Not only do these pair well together because the flexibility training helps with the handstands, but also they're done in the same space, the same vicinity. So it just really helps pairing things together to get more than one thing done within a short amount of time. The sixth thing that has really helped me in my health and fitness journey is learning about food and what I'm eating. Like most people, when I first started, I didn't know what a carb was. I didn't know what a fat or protein was. I had a general idea, but I didn't know about caloric intake. And I also wasn't prioritizing the types of foods that I was eating, meaning how processed they were, if they were whole foods, and how much of each individual macro and micronutrient I needed to feel good. So over the past couple years, I've gone up and down the roller coaster of food, thinking about high protein diets. I attempted a vegan diet for a short amount of time, and that's just what diets are. They're short term. I think they can be beneficial sometimes for, like I said, short terms, but long term, it's not going to be sustainable, and I don't think that you should try and make them sustainable. I try and eat in a way that I think is sustainable and that I think I can do long term. So really prioritizing high protein as well as whole foods has really been beneficial. I found that when I was trying to do high protein, something I was doing was just eating all the processed protein foods, protein bars, other protein snacks, protein drinks, and honestly, they upset my stomach. I can't do just high protein. I really have to make sure that I'm incorporating carbs, fats, in an appropriate ratio for myself. And everyone's gonna be a little bit different. So I'd always recommend working with a registered dietitian. It's gonna be a lot of trial and error to figure out where you should be and what works best for your body and your lifestyle. Number 7, so this kind of goes hand in hand with the last one about nutrition and eating whole foods. It's not having a cheat day. I hate the word cheat day. I feel that it just sets you up for failure. You don't need a cheat day. You should be eating sustainably, something that's well balanced, and something where you're not fearing food or you can't go out because you're concerned about calories or macros or hitting those specific goals. You should still be able to go out and have fun with friends and enjoy cake at a birthday party if that's what you like. I think the healthiest and most balanced version of yourself is one that's able to enjoy those events and that time with family and friends and still not feel guilty or restricted. So no cheat days. Enjoy what you're eating and enjoy the time that you can with those around you. Life is too short, and I know you're not seeing your friends or your family every single day probably, so just really enjoy those special moments and time with them. I think saying that you're gonna have a cheat day can set you up for failure because you tend to, at least for me, I was over consuming, or I would just go ham. I'd be wanting to eat out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or I'd have a really big full dinner, probably high carb like pasta, pizza, and then I'd want ice cream, and then I'd want soda. And honestly, I didn't need those things. I just was, if I restricted for the whole week or the whole month, and then this was my only day that I could have them, I was gonna get as much in as possible. So I think really just living healthy and balanced. Having that soda if you're craving a soda. Going out with friends if your friends want to go out and eat. And you can always choose healthier options. You don't have to choose quote unquote the unhealthy version if you go out and eat. You should just eat what your body's telling you to eat or what sounds good to you in that moment. And I think having meals here and there that are just filling the soul, your soul food, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's just really important to live a balanced lifestyle and eat in a way that feels good for you, that fuels your body, and that's sustainable. If you're not able to sustain it and you're binging or you're having guilt over food, maybe it just isn't the diet or choices for you. Maybe it's something that you want to reconsider. But that's something that I've worked really hard on, and I finally feel like I'm at a place where I can go out and enjoy meals with friends and not feel restricted. I don't always have to meal prep my food if I'm gonna go spend time with family. And I feel really good in my everyday lifestyle with what I'm eating. I feel like it's supporting my journey and supporting my fitness journey as well. So I think we're on number 8. I think they also say in the Atomic Habits book, It's never miss a second day. So if you need a break, you don't want to go to the gym today, or you don't want to do your run today because your body is feeling run down or you slept poorly, that's okay. We need rest, we need breaks, and sometimes our body, it just knows we're not going to be able to complete that workout today or get that run in. So make sure you get it in the second day. And what I mean by that is if you can't get it in the day before, or you decide to skip that day, you need to go the next day. The reason being is because you're starting to build a bad habit or bad patterns if you start skipping Monday, and then you don't want to go Tuesday, and you don't want to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It makes it harder to get back into routine if you have a larger break in between those days. So I think it's okay to allow yourself to rest when you need to rest, or if you've had a really long day or rough day at work, rest. But don't let yourself continue to create excuses for why you're not going to do something or why you're not going to be achieving your goals. All right, number nine. Number 9 is just setting attainable goals. I think it is so important to set realistic expectations based off of your lifestyle, where you're at, and your setting. One of the biggest things I like to do with this is sometimes just breaking up my goals into segments, right? So if I want to run a half marathon, my first set is going to be, I'm going to run a 5K, and then I'll make the goal of running a half marathon. So you can either do short and long-term goals, or you can break up your goals into segments. I think this is so important because it helps you reach your little tiny milestones, which will propel you forward. If you just have one big goal, you can't celebrate the small wins or the small things that you've achieved to assist you to get to that large goal. So setting up small attainable goals or breaking your goals up into segments has been extremely beneficial for me. Something that I've been doing that goes in hand with this is writing my goals out every week. And then if I'm not able to look at them every day, because let's be honest, I don't look at them every day, looking at them weekly, whether that be on a Sunday or a Monday, so that way I can see, oh, this is what I wanted to achieve at the start of the year. This is how far I've gotten. This is just something that's been beneficial for me to see how much progress that I've made and to really stick with my goals. If I am not looking at them, like I said before, out of sight, out of mind, I will forget about my goals. And I find that that's what a lot of people do with their New Year's resolutions or their New Year's goals. They won't write them down. They'll just verbalize what they want and forget about it. So writing down your goals, doing weekly check-ins with yourself for those goals, as well as monthly or quarterly progress updates with where you're at with those goals. I did want to mention though, however, I think it's incredibly important to be mindful of your goals. Like I mentioned before, we're all in different seasons of our life. Things happen. We're human. We have health issues. We have personal issues. We have family issues. So just be mindful and give yourself some grace. Sometimes those goals may have to change or be adjusted. It doesn't mean that you may not necessarily reach them, but maybe you need to set the goal into segments first so that way you can achieve it long term. Or maybe you need to modify that goal so that it reflects your current lifestyle. Number 10, I just changed my mindset. I started utilizing a gratitude journal to write down 3 to 5 things every day that have brought me joy or that I'm grateful for. I think this has been one of the biggest things that has helped really change my thoughts and perspectives, not only on health, fitness, but just my overall life and the amount of joy that it's really brought me. I think I'm so quick to look at what's next. What do I need to do? What can I improve on? I overanalyze things and I'm very self-reflective. So really just taking the time to be grateful for everyday simple things has brought so much joy into my life, and I think it's really changed my perspective on health and fitness. Changing my mindset overall about health, fitness, the way that I view my body and things that my body has been able to do for me has been the biggest life changer for me. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this has helped. These are the 10 life changes that I have made to help improve my health and fitness journey. If you have any questions, please list them down below in the comments. I'd love to hear any changes or habits that you have started to implement that have made a huge difference in your life. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.